We're live.
Oh, jeez, I wasn't ready.
I told you we were
I know
going.
that, but I didn't see you hit the button. Sorry.
Well, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you for watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to go find us on the Instagram and the Twitter at Hollywood Matrimony. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Why does sometimes it stays muted and sometimes it doesn't? It's driving me crazy.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Please like, share, tell everyone you know, thumbs up, send stars, send heart emojis, whatever it is that you do to let us know there's some love out there.
Is there though?
There is. I think there's some love. And right now you get a lot of dogtail because that's what we do. All right. I hope you can't see my legs because that bothers me. You probably can. I have a weird thing about that.
I don't think nobody can see your little chicken legs.
All right, we have a lot of movies to talk about today. Again, I like that we have such a good
You always say
variety.
we have a lot of stuff, and then it's the same amount every week.
It's like 5, which is a lot. I don't think most people watch 5 movies a day. Like yesterday, we watched 3 movies in one day.
We watched more than 5 movies. It's just this is what we're discussing.
I know, but like yesterday, we sat down. We watched 3 movies back to back. I don't think most people do that.
You'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Do y'all sit at home all day and just watch movies?
There are people that do that.
If you do, awesome. You're our people. Thank you for being here. Okay, so let me share. I'm going to do what I ask you guys to do. I'm going to go like and share right this very secundo. I need to change who I am. It says...
Don't change who you are. Be proud of yourself.
Thanks, baby. Hey.
Oh, I didn't say I liked you. I said just be proud of yourself.
Well, I'm liking. I'm sharing.
Am I just going to sit here? What am I doing?
We're going to talk about some movies.
I'm talking about while you're doing all these other things.
Well, I'm already back. I'm done.
Where are you at?
I'm right here.
Where are you going?
So we have a variety of movies to talk about. You can pick which one first. You pick first.
Today. I don't care. Well, I can talk about I'll just talk about this because it's not really a movie. It's a show. We can just knock it out real quick.
All right.
This is one of those that I can't say a whole lot about without spoiling it, but I can kind of just at least make a quick note of it.
Okay.
We probably should have turned the camera a little bit more, but it's all right. It is what it is. All right, so the first thing we're talking about, it's actually not a movie. It's a TV miniseries from Showtime called Your Honor. It stars Bryan Cranston, most people know from Breaking Bad. And if you want to go even further back, to Malcolm in the Middle.
Mm-hmm. He was the dad.
Of course, numerous TV and films. Did you even post a thing up? Oh, there it is. Finally popped up.
You need to calm the heck down.
I know, but when I don't see it, I don't know.
I'm producing the show.
Yeah, but when I look over to you, you're always looking up other things that have nothing to do with what we're doing.
I'm getting prepared.
So that makes me
You don't know. You don't know me.
So anyway, shut up. The premise of the show, this is a mini-series. It's not our ongoing series. It's a 10-episode show where the premise essentially is this young man who we're kind of set up with a lot of things happening in just the first few minutes of the show that end up expanding. And you're like, oh, crap, a lot of other things were happening that you didn't realize they were telling you. And then at the same time, you're learning about this other young man. And they kind of have these dual things. Well, they interconnect because one of them runs over the other one and ends up killing them. And then it sends off a spiral of situations, if you will. See what I just said? Shut the gate.
Go.
That's why you got to have the door shut because they can't look out the window.
Well, fine.
So why don't you deal with that while I talk about this show?
I have to go wrangle.
Yeah, sorry. But anyway, so Bryan Cranston plays one of the young men's fathers, who is an actual judge, and so he is now having to try to help figure out how to handle the situation, especially once it's found out of who the father of the other boy is. So it becomes this whole thing of twists and turns with one bad decision after the other. It's actually a really, really good miniseries. It's 10 episodes. I really liked it. Bryan Cranston is awesome as always. But he's kind of carries the show because he's the one that's got to deal with the risking his own career and making choices. If you had an issue with this, it's one of those things where there's constantly bad decisions made to try to cover up a bad decision, which leads into more issues.
That's how life is.
Well, and that's part of the thing is some of it's the life stuff. Some of it's like you get frustrated because you're like, if you just done this, we wouldn't even have had this issue.
Yep.
But it's not a case where he just jumps up and is like, oh my God, he's a judge, so he's immediately covering things up. He tries to fix it all the exact proper way right off the bat. But then he realizes who the other person is involved in this, and then it makes him fear for his family. And so
so this is going to be like a lot of...
Yeah, but then because of one decision, it involves somebody else, and then it involves another gang, and then it involves this. It becomes this multi-tier of people dying and being blown up and being killed and being involved.
Does my favorite thing happen?
That's how the whole thing starts. Somebody getting run over.
Yeah, but that sounded sad.
Yeah,
I wanted a funny.
Because then it shows a shot of the guy laying there, the kid. He's like 17. And he's got one leg folded backwards and his head's blood all over. Anyway, it's a really good show. I don't want to give too much away, obviously, because part of it is seeing how it unfolds and what happens and where they're going with it. But there is, like I said, a frustrating element of stop making these dumb decisions, but also you kind of get it because the insanity, the other side of the party that are wanting to deal with it, the levels they go before the incident to solve situations is terrifying already. So it's interesting, but I will say it comes full circle into an ending that's kind of predictable. It's kind of a predictable ending, but it's a perfect ending because it almost ends the way it started, which is very clever. So I really enjoyed it. It was actually on Showtime. So if you have the Showtime app or anything else on your phone, streaming, whatever, on your TV or Hulu and Fire or whatever, like Amazon, all 10 episodes are actually on there. So if you don't want to buy the DVD or you don't want to go find it, if you already have Showtime, you can already watch it. All 10 episodes there. And we may just have a copy of this that's going to be given away this next week. So, or go up in the next week or so. But check out Your Honor. It's available on the Showtime app and stuff now, or on the DVD now from whoever put it up. I think
that was not good.
I think it's CBS DVD and Paramount and Showtime all put it out.
There you go.
So
all together.
Just go to the store.
Holding hands.
Just go to the store and look for it. It's
there
right
you
there.
go.
Your Honor. Y-O-U-R, not Y-O-U''R'.
All right.
Because then it would say you are honor.
Yes. Okay, we're going to go here because this one.
Where's here?
Right here.
All right. Oh, I forgot about that one.
All right. How can you forget it? Has your man crush? All right.
Oh, that's huge.
How did he become your man crush?
It wasn't so much a man crush is kind of a harsh, bizarre phrase to use.
I know, but
because I don't have
you like him or admire him as an actor.
I just like him as an actor. I don't know. You know, there's actors that just you connect with, and when he burst on the screen, with stuff like SWAT, I think it's what he was in. It was SWAT, and he was in Minority Report, and he was Bullseye and Daredevil, and he was kind of like the new it guy.
The guy.
And then he disappeared for a while, and there was a sex tape controversy.
But is that ever a controversy?
He had nothing to be ashamed of. Let's just say that. So,
that's what I'm saying. Is it really a controversy?
And then he kind of
the men get off easy on that one.
And I always,
that was a funny.
But I always hate saying he made a comeback because he didn't really make a comeback because he was never gone.
Right. He just became
but then he started
a resurgence.
Then he did great movies like The Lobster, which you still never saw.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I know you didn't see The Lobster because I saw it by myself.
Okay.
It's a great movie. It's a very bizarre movie, but it's
right.
Great. And then, of course, he started showing up in a lot of these other things. So, over time, Colin Farrell, which is who we're discussing, I have no idea why. I just became a fan, and I've been a fan ever since.
There you go.
Maybe it's because he's Australian. Is he Australian?
No.
Or he's English?
No, he's maybe he's Australian.
Irish.
He's something different.
He's Irish.
There you go.
Excuse me. Because he used in Daredevil, he got to use his full-on Irish accent.
Yes.
Even though I don't believe Bullseye was Irish in the comic, but that doesn't matter. He's like one of the only good things about that Daredevil movie. Anyway,
we totally digress.
We're doing all this thing talking about the movie Voyagers. It's a Neil Berger movie that we kept talking about going to see. We never got to go watch it.
I don't know what happened and why we didn't.
It was still pandemic time, and it was trying to make time. And but the movie also stars Ty Sheridan,
yes,
and Lily Rose Depp. So technically, there are elements of both of my man crushes that you claim. And I'm a big Johnny Depp fan as well, and that's his daughter, so she's there. The film is basically it's a ship full of people that are trying to find a new place for Earth to populate.
Correct.
but it's going to
Because,
take...
of course, we've destroyed the Earth.
Yes, but it's going to take 86 years to get there or something like that.
Correct.
So they basically have these kids that are born, and they go on the ship. And then the plan is for them to grow up in space on the ship, and then by the time they get there, it'll be their grandchildren that actually thing it. So they'll grow up.
Well, no, not even, because
I
it was
know,
all pre-inseminated
Yeah, it's planned.
fertilizations.
And they have the stuff that keeps them having emotions and feelings and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Very equilibrium-like.
Yes, the
gun fu.
Yes.
So Colin Farrell plays a guy who was, I guess, a doctor or whatever you want to call him, that he was in charge of the program raising the kids and bringing them up. So he decides to go to space with them.
Correct. Essentially, because he has nothing left on Earth.
There's nothing left, but he also is like, we can leave earlier, and these kids need somebody to help them and take care of them while they're learning. So they end up leaving like 4 years sooner than they were planning or something.
Who knows?
So anyway, so essentially when you get up there, as you might expect,
Craziness
things happen,
ensues.
goes horribly wrong, and it essentially becomes Lord of the Flies in space. So what did you think of this film?
It was okay.
Yeah.
In a way, I was hoping that it'd have a little bit more dynamic something to it. I think it was a little bit by the numbers for kids go crazy, craziness ensues, fighting, and then kind of come back to, hey, we should have just done this to begin with. It was a little bit also like, I know you didn't like this movie. I think I'm the only one that did. The one with the, where they were taking the pills and they were trying to control the kids. It's the football movie with Katie Holmes and
Disturbing Behavior?
Disturbing Behavior. It was a little bit like that too.
Nothing like that.
It was, where they were trying to control them, and then the kids go crazy and hormonal, and craziness ensues. It's a little of that. I guess I was expecting something epic since we're in space. Maybe that's probably where I went wrong. I was expecting something.
Well,
different.
I think from the advertisements, I thought we were going to have more of a terrifying scenario because it seemed like they were setting up creatures. So they kind of went nowhere. You know,
that was the other thing. Yeah,
it kind of set up a whole thing and then went nowhere with it.
Correct.
You know, and so there's an element that, and there's a few things there that feels like missing. Like it kind of jumps ahead a lot, and I know they're doing that because they're trying to jump in time with these characters sometimes. And I know you're dealing with like these flood of emotions that they start getting that they're not supposed to have. So there's a lot of bad decision making, but then there's like it's kind of back and forth where it's like very, as you said, by the numbers, like make this emotion to cause this problem, take away this emotion to solve this problem.
Yeah.
And Colin Farrell's kind of a small part. He's in it. He's an important part, but he kind of disappears.
Later.
Which I expected. I didn't expect him to be the lead in this movie.
It's really Ty Sheridan and the Depp girl.
Lily Rose. Everybody's good in the movie.
Everyone's fine. Yeah.
Visually, the movie's awesome looking because they have these really narrow hallways.
Yes.
And of course, like a lot of space stuff, they're like insanely clean, you know, and white.
It's sterile.
Sterile, yes. Sterile, clean, white, and grays. And so there's a lot of like chase scenes and stuff where they're running, but they're running through these narrow hallways. And so the ship becomes kind of a character on its own.
Yeah.
Which does elevate it to make it something bigger, kind of, and make it stand out. A very THX 1138 and 2001 Space Odyssey vibe of what you're looking at.
Very.
But it never really... I think one of the problems, and it's not a problem because I applaud they did it, it just didn't really work, is that the point of it being in space served no real purpose.
Correct.
And that
they could have been in a submarine. It would have been the same.
Yeah, they could have put this and still been on Earth and been the same thing.
In some sort of a training facility or something.
Yeah, they never really fully. There's only one time or two times maybe they fully take advantage of the space element. And then when the movie gets to the ending, it feels like it was kind of a waste of time because it just kind of goes back to where it was.
Exactly, that's what I said. It's just...
But you can't. There's nothing you could have done because this thing is on a journey, and they could have either all wiped each other out and stayed like they're going to do, but they're still going to die. The next people, it's not even going to be these people that get there anyway. So there's really nothing this movie could have done in its element.
Yeah, I mean, because because of being on the ship, we were stuck.
Yeah,
in the ship.
had it been on Earth or someone else, they could have gotten out and left, and then it could have been like, oh my God, they started some new population.
Yeah.
But here it's like, yeah, there's no escaping. There's nowhere to go. If you die, you die. If you live, you're going to stay there and then eventually die anyway.
It had a little bit, in a weird way, like a Wayward Pines vibe, where like first generation is talking about, well, that's for second generation.
She's just upset because Wayward Pines.
I did. And then the other thing, though, is the interesting thing in the trailer, not to spoil anything, they're drinking the stuff. And they're like, oh, the stuff is causing us to not have any emotions and feelings. And it's interesting because the one thing that they tried to prepare for was the violence of mankind. Because even later on, they find supplies that are meant for second generation and third generation, which are a couple of little weapon things, little knives and things.
They eventually turn on each other.
No, I think because we're assuming
know eventually people are going to act like that and have to do something.
I think, though, because by the time we get to the new planet that we're going to inhabit, we're going to take over the planet. So we're still in this mindset of, let's control our violent nature now, but once we get there, let's be violent and take over.
I don't think that's it. I think
that's what I got from
that's what you get because you're a minority.
No, because
human
beings are the most violent.
No, I agree with that, but I also think there's a different mentality there because I think
I'm being conquistadored.
Kind of, yeah.
That's what I automatically assume.
Because what I saw there was having everything you needed to defend yourself, protect yourself, survive. Because there's no way you can send all these people to some other planet and not give them weapons to defend themselves.
I just assume we're going to go colonize.
I'm not saying I don't think they would have done that because they probably would have. But I think it's that idea of your immediate is go to conquest. My immediate is
I'm Planet of the Apes again.
Yeah. So, but it's an okay movie. It's
fine.
It's a decent sci-fi flick, but like I said, it's very Lord of the Flies.
The Ty Sheridan guy did a really good job because for most of the film, when they're on the stuff, they have like no emotional baseline, so it's actually really interesting. A lot of the characters.
He's like that in most of his movies.
I know, but he busts out a little bit, but like the Lily Rose, she's like that the whole time. But then to see Colin Farrell dealing with these people, and he's normal, but he also has that same level of emotion because he has nothing left in his life, which is kind of sad in a way. So, I don't know. Broken people in space.
It's decent. If you like sci-fi movies, if you like Lord of the Flies, its biggest problem is it never pushed the boundaries to really stand out, make you feel like any real threats. Because yes, there's people that die. Yes, things happen. But because there's kind of this grim reality of the characters you're dealing with, that they're not going to make it through this entire journey, even if things were exactly the way they were meant to be, they're still going to die before they get to their destination.
And that comes up too. That comes up for some of them.
So it's like, what's really? Why do I really care if all these people kill themselves, each other? And who cares if they survive? Y'all are not going to be the ones that are meant to survive anyway.
It's going to be the grandkids anyway. So what does it matter?
It kind of, as you start dealing with it, it's hard to really invest in the characters, which in turn I think kind of hurts the film. Despite the idea being really interesting.
It seems really cool.
If you want to check it out, it's available now on Blu-ray and DVD from somebody. I think Lionsgate.
Wow, babe. You're not even trying on this one. Okay, where do you want to go?
Okay.
You want to go here? You want to go here?
What that is. Okay, whatever.
You go there?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, we'll go there.
What we got next, sister?
So today we are going to hit the movie Fatherhood.
And ironically, because it's Father's Day.
Today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the padres out there.
And not Happy Father's Day to all the single mothers. That annoys me.
I agree. Because
they have Mother's Day.
I agree.
And then fathers have fathers. So if there's no fathers, if they don't have a father, horribly sad, but they wait for Mother's Day.
There you go.
The rest of the day, we really don't even need Mother's Day and Father's Day. Let's get technical. You should be showing thanks to your parents every freaking day. Not one day a year when Hallmark says you have to.
I do. You do too.
This guy.
Anyways, okay, this is a movie. Wow. This movie starring Kevin Hart.
Who?
Kevin Hart.
Is he new?
He's new. Basically, the story is he loses his wife, becomes a single father. There you go.
That's pretty much the synopsis, too.
Pretty much is trying to raise a baby on his own. And it has a really good cast. We have Alfre Woodard, Lil Rel's in there. I don't know who else
Paul
is in there.
Reiser.
Paul Reiser.
Not looking like crazy Paul Reiser.
No.
From the Kaminsky Method.
Which one's the bald man? Because I like him.
He's so good, but it was weird for me to watch
a normal guy.
Yeah, it weirded me out in this movie.
Because isn't he normally like some
he's
sort
normally
of
like a psychopath. Like he's been in Black Lightning for the last few seasons, killing people, and he was Zaz, I believe, in Gotham. And,
I'm like I feel like he's alienish, but he looked cool in this.
So it's a Netflix exclusive movie. Now this is another one that was hit by the pandemic. It was supposed to be a theatrical release, but because of
Netflix
COVID,
picked it up.
Not only did this movie get shut down during COVID times, it was also one that ended up getting bought by Netflix, which I think is a good thing for this movie. Not because I don't think it would have done well, but I think this is a good one to be able to watch at home.
Yes.
Especially being able to watch it on Father's Day because it's kind of fitting.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good one.
So what did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And then I guess I missed it. Did it say at the beginning based on a true story? It probably did.
It's based on something. So
it's based on a man's true story on the book he wrote regarding his experience with his daughter.
You posted the thing too.
Yeah. I posted that poster, so you'd know it's based on the book. So I'm interested in reading that. But this was actually a really good movie, and it brought up a lot of issues that I think you and I were both like, don't you do that. You know how the grandmothers automatically think, oh, you need help. Let the baby come live with me. I'm like, why are you trying to take this guy's baby away from him?
That's one of the things
I can't deal with that.
That I was writing in the review was how infuriating moments in this movie were for me. And it was those kind of moments of, they're trying to help, but them not even saying, hey, do you think you should come stay with us? There's one of the characters that literally says, we are taking her with us. She didn't ask. Like there wasn't some kind of a situation where something horrific happened that he couldn't take care of her, or there wasn't something that happened that he wasn't stable to take care of. Like if they had created a thing where he was so distraught and so crazy about losing his wife, then that would have made more sense. But because they literally just didn't trust him to do it, but I think there was a split there. I think by the end of the movie, you realize that it's not just that; it's also the fact that they're using that as their connection to the lady they lost.
I get it.
But still, it's the delivery.
Yeah.
But at first, it seems like it's the mother-in-law and the mother, his mother and the mother-in-law, the wife's mother. But then you kind of find a balance between the two. And I think it's infuriating, but it's real life.
Yeah, that and then when the mother-in-law's like, well, I'm staying here 6 months. He's like, you didn't ask me if you could stay at my house for 6 months, and no, you're not. You're leaving. But
see, he didn't say it like that, and that drove me nuts too.
He did.
No, he didn't. He
no, you're not.
He said no, but then he negotiated it, and like, why don't you leave this?
No.
And then she's like, well, you're coming home for this, and you need to be. There's other times like, hey, you got to come back home for this christening thing, and you're like, you didn't ask me if you could christen my child. And
correct.
Though it was all those moments that infuriated me, because it's that mentality of thinking you have a say-so, and it's because what part of that comes from firsthand experience. Because I went through a lot of that in my first marriage. I was also very young when I got married, but where a mother-in-law would constantly, with good intent, try to tell us what to do. And I had to finally be that guy who's like, mind your business. You don't have a say-so in our life. And, thankfully in my world, she got it, apologized, because that was never her intent. It wasn't like in this where she's just very controlling, But it was, I was personally being infuriated because I was having flashbacks. I was like, hey, watch the movie with the twitches.
I enjoyed Kevin Hart in this one because he's not just straight out funny like we normally see him. Yeah. There are some funny moments, but there's a lot more emotion.
I like they balance it. They let Lil Rel be the funny one.
Yes.
And Kevin Hart is very serious. Yes, there's funny moments of being the dad and doing the silly stuff, but he had to carry full on. And I don't think he gets enough credit as an emotional, dramatic actor because he didn't do a lot of it. But, like that movie, The Upside, he did with Bryan Cranston. Yes. It's so good, and it just kind of got ignored.
Yeah,
he got a lot of bad reviews, and I was like, what? And
he's like, what were y'all watching?
And he's all in here, and I think he's sorry, dog. I just kicked my dog in the top of the head. I think I think this is something he relates because he is a father, and he's even a new father again.
Yeah.
And so I think he was able to relate and find I think he was just being Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
In this movie, he wasn't being a funny man.
Yeah, it was good. It's a really good, heartfelt movie. You should check it out. I cried a little bit at the beginning. Got me at the end.
It is predictable. Once you get about halfway through, you kind of know where it's all going, how it's going to end, and then there's moments where it's basically feeding you kind of a montage.
We need a montage
situation where you know that, okay, we know exactly what he's about to do, what's going to happen, what's going to end, and how it's going to happen. But it's just experiencing the journey with them, and then it's a life journey. So it's heartwarming, it's frustrating, it's annoying, it's sad, it's happy.
And it has some poop jokes.
Yes.
Because anytime there's a baby, you need poop jokes.
There's poop jokes. And again, I was having twitches from those because some of those I've been a part of.
It's not okay. Mm-mm. It's not okay. I'm just telling you.
So the movie make you want to have a child?
No, I'm happy there's a grandbaby around that we watch once a month and then it goes home. I love that kid. She's awesome. But there's still poops involved.
I know. I've told you. I'm not baby people
I know.
anymore.
You're like so grumpy about it. I love this
I love
kid.
that child. I love her more
and she
than
likes
anything.
me.
I know, but she likes you because she sees that you're the help.
No, she likes me because she knows I'm the good one here.
I love that child. I'm the one that watched her first by herself when we were here, and I watched her for like 5 hours that day.
That's a lot.
And I realized that day, as much as I love that child,
He's
my
like,
baby
I
days,
am not baby people.
My baby days are behind me.
Yeah,
I'm not enjoying that anymore.
That was 25 years ago.
I like playing with her. I like talking to her. I like watching TV with her. Now she's mobile.
You gotta chase her around. She's grabbing everything and slamming it down.
Now, once she gets to talking, I'll probably enjoy it a little bit more because we can have conversations and talk trash about her dad and stuff.
Yeah.
But and you. So.
No, I'm gonna talk about y'all.
No, you're not.
Yeah, we are. You don't even know.
I'll tell the truth.
Anyhow, Fatherhood available now on the Netflixo.
It is. It is really good.
It's a really good movie. You should check it out. Okay, next we have these two.
Yeah,
Which one?
Okay, pick one.
I'm gonna go here.
Okay. So the next one is another one that was supposed to get a theatrical release, but again, because of COVID, they made the decision. Which is kind of sad they made the decision, but I'm glad they did too, just because of time.
Yeah.
Is for the latest Disney Pixar movie, Luca.
This is the cutest thing ever.
It is an exclusive Disney Plus. It is not an early access pay. It comes with Disney Plus.
It's just
so they did exactly the same thing they did with Soul, when they just released it exclusively. The reason I feel bad is one, it would look beautiful on the big screen.
Yes.
But I feel bad for the people, the animators, and the people that worked on that because, making a movie like this, there was clearly an intent for it to be a big screen release.
Yeah.
And they didn't get that. And there was even some outpouring anger from them when it was announced. Well, not now. Now it's...
But maybe there'll be a special, I don't know, viewing or showing.
Well, I'm sure they did big viewings and stuff at Disney and whatever, but it's just not going to be that one that gets the money to say, hey, it's another financial success, and the person that directed gets that credit. But at the same time, I thought it looked beautiful on screen here.
On our 4K.
Yeah, so if you get to watch it in 4K, obviously it enhances it really beautiful. But
really
even if you don't have 4K, it's still a beautiful film. It's very bright and colorful and vibrant. So what's this one about?
So this movie is about these two little boys, Luca and Alberto. And first thing you need to know is they're in Italy. And so a lot of the stuff is just in Italiano. And I love it. And there's not any translation. And I think that's always the best thing.
But there's a lot of translation because I'll have to watch things in subtitles.
Because we have to watch subtitles. Now, here's the thing. As you can tell from the poster, they're actually like little mermen.
They classify them as sea monsters.
They're calling them
even
sea
in the
monsters.
synopsis, they classify them as sea monsters.
They do have little fins and tails, so I guess technically they're sea monsters.
Yeah. It's not a secret, so it's not something you discover. The movie starts
off.
off.
It starts off there, and it's in the preview. So, of course, the people in the town it's a fishing village, and they're always hunting sea monsters. And we have the cute little girl who is, I want to call her the wrong name. Oh gosh, what's her name?
I forgot her name.
I know, me too. Because the guy calls her Stinkerella or something, and it's not. Anyways, her dad happens to be the head sea monster catcher, basically, because the sea monster got his arm. Oh my gosh, he's the cutest thing. They're just the cutest little things ever.
Well, I'm gonna admit, same thing I said in my review. I was a little concerned when we started watching it.
Why?
Because the first few little sequences and stuff, it felt very simplistic, and it started feeling like one of those straight to video movies. But it's because I think part of it's because you get so used to the in-depth details of a lot of stuff they do, and this movie has, but it's still very simple. But it was important, I think, for it to be kind of simple for the look and the vibe they were going for.
Yes.
Because it's beautifully complex in its simplicity.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And I think it is pretty. I mean, the depth here you see is not like as vibrant as some of like what's the one with all the animals? Where the animals are in the city and like you see like in the background you see these characters. Yeah, so it's not that. The depth is a little bit more in the structures of the building. It's very.
Well, I saw somebody else compare this one very much to The Good Dinosaur.
Yes,
which is
that.
Very detailed backgrounds, everything else, but the characters are very simple designs.
Yes,
but they're memorable designs.
And what I thought, somebody tooted. The dogs. When I saw the thing is you see the depth in the background of the Palacio, and you see like the little cracks in the little cobblestones.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of depth, but it's all scenery, and then you can see the people layered on top of it. But I actually like their simplistic vibe.
I do too,
and it's very much just a.
And once
I don't know
once you get through the first kind of opening
animation.
And you start experiencing their underwater world that these people inhabit.
Yep.
Then it kind of expands heavily, and you almost feel like you could be in the world of Finding Nemo, even though it's not the same art style. It's a different tone. But you feel like you fully embrace. Like I was kind of upset for us to leave that world. I wanted more time in that world.
It was really nice, and the underwater stuff, but it really deals with them dealing with like the human side of it.
And I really loved.
I just kicked his ear.
The fact that, almost anytime you use kind of a mermaid situation, when they leave the ocean, they turn into people and they have legs and whatever. I thought this was very clever on how they were using the transformations.
Yes.
And the different ways they not only made them transfer back and forth, but how they were trying to get around it or hide it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of became part of the fun of the movie. Is like there's one sequence that they're just diving in and out of the water and jumping up and changing human, jumping back into sea monsters, jumping human, and parts of them change sometimes. It's just really clever the way they did it.
And that when they got there's one scene at the very beginning where the Luca gets out of the water and he's freaking out because he has no idea what's happening to him, and he's like, "What are these things?" And he doesn't even know how to walk.
Yeah, because he obviously never done it.
Never had to walk in the water, so it's interesting. I thought it was very clever.
Did you find it weird that he didn't understand his legs when, as a sea monster, he has legs?
Yeah, but they don't walk on them.
No, but he has legs and a tail, so he already had the digits. He didn't just have a fish body.
I know, that's what I thought too, but he had never put his whole weight on his leg.
I get that, but I'm not talking about his walking part. I'm talking about him just being confused that he had legs.
I know. It was different. I don't know. I also like too that we have a little insight into Luca's family, his mom, his dad, and his fun grandma, which that's me. I'm the fun grandma, and the weird uncle. So I like that we had all of that stuff, like your normal family dynamic. And then his friend Alberto is just very kind of crazy and does his own thing. And the little girl's name is Julia. Julia
Gulia?
Yes, pretty much. So I just thought it was the cutest thing in the whole world. I think the funniest thing is there's a cat, and that cat does not like anyone. And
he looks just like the owner.
Yes.
It's the same face as the dad.
The dad with the one arm. And when he showed him, he only has one arm. And I'm trying to look and see, and he did have one arm. But I like those different characters, the funny characters that they put in there.
Well, I like too, one of the main focuses of this movie is they dive fully Italian about their obsession with the Vespa.
Yes,
and that's all they care about. It's all about the Vespa for the majority of the movie. Right up to the end, it's about a Vespa.
And the crazy thing too is they're doing a triathlon.
The pasta triathlon.
Their triathlon includes a pasta eating contest. And I'm like, what? I thought it was running, and I was swimming in
it's usually shooting or something. I was working at the same time, so I guess I had missed the discussion that there was going to be pasta.
Yes.
So I I didn't ask. I just kept watching it. And I kind of didn't understand why they kept yelling at the one kid just to keep eating. That's your job, is to eat. I'm like, he must just suck. And then when I started watching the triathlon part, they stopped the eating contest. I'm like,
it's an eating contest.
They're having an eating contest. I totally had missed that part of the movie because I wasn't paying attention at one point.
And it's so funny. This is not super spoiler, but just training for the pasta eating contest. They're like, it could be lasagna, it could be maniconi, it could be spaghetti. So they're giving them just all these different plates of pasta. I'm like, wouldn't you just eat it no matter, like, why does it matter what type of pasta? But maybe it does. What do I know?
Well, different kind of pastas and fillings fill you up in different ways.
But then the one stupid rule is he had to use a fork.
Yeah, and they don't know how to use a fork. So
that was funny.
It is a cute
hilarity.
Movie. It's
I want to watch this again. I would watch it again.
You can watch it anytime you want because it's on Disney Plus.
There you go. And I told people today to go watch it.
And it is visually stunning.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's very colorful.
The colors are good.
The blues and the browns and the greens all kind of really make this whole punch in the face.
And I was trying to see like what the animation style was, because like in Julie's little knit hat, it actually looks like it's knitted hat, and her hair kind of looks like woolly fibers or something. So I don't even know how they did this. It's amazing. I'm always amazed by animation and stuff because I can't draw stick figures.
This is true.
Can't draw anything.
I'm not near as
bad
as you.
I am absolutely impressed.
Anyway, Luca's a fun movie. It would have been a major hit in the theater, I think.
Yes.
But I'm glad we got to see it. I'm glad it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, you can check it out now. It's exclusively part of Disney Plus. You do not have to pay for it. So just go on there, click that little button, click play, sit back, grab you some pasta, sit with your familia, and have a good old time.
I know. It's the best. I really like this movie.
Clearly.
Like, I like
it's no Fox and the Hound, but it's good.
And I like that even the intros and everything, and at the end, like, all the words are in Italiano. So you just go with it. Love it. Okay, next.
And one more?
We got one more, buddy.
One more is the biggest film in the weekend at the box office.
Is it?
Yep, it was #1.
Oh, wow.
Who
knew?
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, the sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Correct.
This is one of those movies that didn't necessarily need a sequel, but I'm sure glad it got one.
I am too, unless you're one of those people that hated it.
Yeah, it didn't do very well. Only
That's
like
okay.
30% on Rotten Tomatoes,
which is strange.
but it was #1. So if you don't know what we're talking about, The Hitman's Bodyguard was a film that came out with Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
About a bodyguard that is hired to protect this hitman that's supposed to go to trial, and madness ensues, and it's an action comedy and a very dysfunctional relationship.
Yes, very much.
So at the end of the first movie, if you haven't seen it, they kind of become friends, but not friends at all. It's very love-hate, dysfunctional relationship.
Correct.
So Salma Hayek plays Samuel L. Jackson's wife. He's the hitman.
Correct. She's
in the first movie, but she's in prison the whole time.
Correct.
So you see her just a few times.
She's hilarious.
She elevated this movie.
Because there was no need for any of her outbursts, but it was funny.
Because she's a nut.
In the first movie.
She's what made it funny.
Yeah, because in the first movie, she's yelling, and there's this lady in the corner. She's like, okay, you can go sit down now. And like the whole time, we never even knew this lady was there.
She's standing in the corner, shut up.
Oh,
so in this new one, Ryan Reynolds' character is dealing with all the drama and the traumatic stuff he dealt with from the first movie that is now haunting him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to leave bodyguarding behind
Correct.
or take a break, so he's not using guns, all this good stuff.
His therapist sends him on a sabbatical and says he needs to clear his mind.
Which we all know means that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
And so Salma Hayek shows up, puts him in the middle of action, and then the adventure becomes this road trip, action heavy, more dysfunctional three-way relationship.
So bizarre.
Yeah, and as much as Salma Hayek's character and Samuel L. Jackson's character love each other, their relationship is just as dysfunctional as everybody else.
Yes.
And it's a movie that probably didn't need to exist. It probably pushes it overboard. But I think it's as good, if not better, than the first one.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was hilarious.
It is so funny and so fun. And the action is massive and over the top, violent. Yes, over the top. This time around, we also added Antonio Banderas.
Yep.
Or as some people will refer to him as Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
Which reteams him with Salma Hayek.
Yes, correct.
Not Desperado.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh yes, Desperado.
Plays Desperado.
Yeah. Desperado Days. I'm sure they've done something else since then together.
I'm
too,
sure
but,
they have.
he plays the villain this time around, and very much like Gary Oldman played the villain in the first one, he's very more the straight man.
Mm-hmm.
Although he does come off a little more cartoonish-like,
yes,
because of his look in this one. And then Morgan Freeman joins the cast in the most unexpected, awesome role. That
crazy
added a whole nother element of silliness to
it is crazy
in the best way possible.
Anyway,
so what did you think, madam?
I really enjoyed this movie. I agree, it did not need to exist. It has no real purpose in being here, but I'm glad because it was a lot of fun. I like that it immediately kind of picks up after the events of the last one, so you could literally sit down and watch it back to back as one continuous thing.
Which is kind of what we did. We watched it and we
went and saw it. I like me some Ryan Reynolds when he does these funny things. He's fun. And I like that he just went in for all the action stuff, and he looks pretty good doing it.
Well, I mean, he's established himself as an action star.
He's an action dude. And, of course, I love Salma Hayek, but she's my people. I've always loved Salma Hayek. I always will. She is crazy over the top. It is unnecessary. And, yeah, it's a lot of yelling and screaming, but she's funny.
She is. She is the centerpiece of this film.
Yes.
She's in, and it's not just a case of, I'm glad even in the poster if you see she's front and center, because even though it's about still the relationship between Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds and their characters, she is the front and center thing that's not only causing even more dysfunction, but she's also the thing holding them all together. Because she's in one moment hyper violent, crazy, insane, and the next moment it's very caring and loving to both of them.
Yes.
You know, and then the next minute she'll shoot everybody again, you know. And then she has connections to the bigger part of the story. And so there's a lot of elements that kind of not only made for another fun action kind of road trip movie, but it also kind of gave you more insight to each of the characters, more backstories and history.
Yeah, we find out about everybody.
Yeah, and it's insane over the top.
It is. I mean, and it's fun, and I think that's the thing. So I think some of the bad reviews or the negative reviews are people just like trying to take it too seriously. It's so not a serious movie.
No, and one of the reviews I read,
it's ridiculous.
The first couple lines of the review were talking about how this was a sequel to a bad movie already. And I'm like, how could you not have enjoyed that first movie?
It was just meant to be fun.
This is straight up popcorn flick. There's nothing to think about. There's no complicated twists and turns. There are some surprising turns.
Yes.
But they're meant for laughs and also to further the story. But this is just about laughs, fighting, killing.
It's just fun.
Just overall fun. And it fully embraces its rated R.
Yes, it goes
elements as it did in the first one. And the ending to this one, actually, where the first one just kind of ends, and they could have never done another one, it would have been a fun end. This one ends, but now has opened up to even more things they could do. Yeah. Which I think could be hilarious if they keep playing on this.
There's so many ways we can go with this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's what makes it fun.
It is.
And I don't get why people get all bent out of shape about movies that are not like, oh, it's not serious.
I don't know. Sometimes you just need a movie that...
I know who didn't like it, that old dude.
Oh, I don't know.
Or my nemesis was back at the theater.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that the other day. Yeah, we saw this one at a press screening.
We've seen this like 3 weeks ago, I feel like.
No, it was not this last week.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we went to a press screening for it. But it's always fun to turn your brain off and just have fun in the movie.
Just have fun, man. We had some popcorn, had a good time. It was fun.
It is.
That's all it's about.
Fun movie. I loved it. Like I said, I loved it as much, if not more, than the first one. I think they're both great movies, and I would be fine if they just kept making movies with these three people together. Yeah. Just shooting
a new adventure.
I don't even care. It could just be the hitman wife's bodyguard's child uncle's aunt. And I'd be like, I don't even care. Let's do it. They're all 80 years old, a bunch of kids, and they're killing people, and I would still have a blast.
That's okay. It'd be good.
That fun.
There you go.
Anyway, so it's in theaters. It's not anywhere else.
Yeah, go to the theater. It'll be fun.
Theaters only.
Get some popcorn.
Theaters are back open fully.
Let's go support the theater.
Most of them don't require masks and stuff if that's what was keeping you away. Other ones, you're still welcome to wear a mask if that's what's making you afraid to go. They're still very adamant about how clean they're keeping things. I've never seen AMC that clean. We've been going to the theaters for since they
forever.
opened it last year.
Yeah, we never really stopped.
You have a big old hair right on your face.
As soon as we could go, we were there.
Yeah, so, but this is not one that you can get on the early access or pay-per-view. If you want to see it, you're going to have to go to the theater.
Go to the theater.
If not, you're going to have to wait till it comes out on the Blu-ray and the DVD.
All right. The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. There you go. You need to go see it. It's really good. All right. And next, sir, gentleman, on my right, I hand it over to you.
My parents clearly don't talk to each other. That was my dad calling me.
I hate when that happens.
And
they live in the same house.
I know, and I'm sorry, that was sidetracked.
No, let what happened. Tell us.
So
it's Father's Day. It's related.
I went over and I cooked lunch for my dad and my mom today. And I left my watch over there. So on the way home, I called my mom. Hey, I left the watch. I'll come back later to get it. She goes, okay. That was at like 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Ago, yeah.
My dad, that's who was just calling. And I looked at the voicemail that had the, because it transcripts. It says, hey, Bobby, you left your watch here. I'll be back. I'm like,
why do they not talk to each other?
I don't know. Moving on.
Is it on purpose?
No, no.
Okay.
Anyway.
Have you asked them?
No, because then they'll talk to me.
Okay.
All right. So this week on Blu-ray and DVD, I love you both in case you watch. There's a variety of old school stuff coming out. Half Baked is getting a re-release. It's a Dave Chappelle movie. It's one of those movies that bombed really bad at the theaters, but I think it's hilarious. It's like a cult classic plot movie.
Okay.
CB4, which is a Chris Rock movie that I love. Have you ever seen CB4?
No, I haven't.
It's basically kind of a parody film of like NWA.
Okay.
Because they do a song in the thing called Straight Outta Low Cash instead of Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
And it's such fun. It's Chris Rock, Alan Payne, Phil Hartman, Chris Elliott. It's such a great movie. We'll watch it because I think I love that movie. There's a movie called Night of the Sicario. It is not in the Sicario series that we already know. This movie has Natasha Henstridge from Species and all that. And Costas Mandylor.
Oh, I love me some Costas Mandylor. No? I have notes about him all over this piece of paper here.
Why do you have notes about Costas Mandylor?
From
Saw.
From my Saw film.
Then there's a movie called Siberia. That's a Willem Dafoe movie. Excuse me. There's a couple of those Studio Ghibli movies getting re-releases.
Oh, cool.
The Wind Rises and The Secret World of Arrietty are both getting re-releases or limited edition steelbooks.
That's pretty cool.
A movie called The Unholy that I wanted to see. It's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Papa Winchester.
Yeah, it's like possessions and demons or whatever.
Okay.
A movie called Hunter x Hunter that's got Devon Sawa in it. The Umbrella Academy Season 1 is getting a release. Yeah. And the only one I'm really, really excited about this week is Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1, based on the the miniseries from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It's all about the holiday killer. So each issue when it came out, it was like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day.
Wow.
So there's like a serial killer that they're dealing with. And this is part one of two. They sent us some cool swag, so we'll talk about that next week on the show.
Nice.
Those are all pretty much the big
I want to watch that.
Okay.
I'll like me some Batman.
We'll watch it tonight.
Cool. All right. Coming out this week at the theater and online.
There's a small movie coming out.
Wednesday, there's a Netflix movie coming out called Good on Paper. It's about a stand-up comedian. The good thing is we're going to see Margaret Cho, so I'm assuming she'll be doing some stand-up in that.
We'll be doing some stand-up comedian.
And then Friday, kind of a little movie called F9. It's the Fast and Furious Part 9, and it's probably Dominic Toretto in space. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
There's been some jokes yet rumors that their only thing left they can do is go to space.
You know what? I'll be there.
And have you seen the one in the part of the trailer where they're flying towards space?
Kind of.
It's like a car and it's going up in the jet fuel and it's leaving into the atmosphere.
You know what? I'm there.
This is another one that was supposed to come out last year. It surprised everybody in the trailer because Han was back in the trailer.
I'm so confused because we just finished watching Tokyo Drift. We're watching all the movies to get ready.
And then the pandemic hit and they delayed it.
And we're like,
a full year. What? So it was sad because I don't know if I'll talk about it next week.
Well, and then it's interesting because our bad guy's back from the last movie, which is Charlize Theron. She was in the trailer. So.
But now we have a new one edition, which is John Cena's character.
Yes. So
and now he Well,
It's crazy.
I'll talk about it next week.
We are all into this movie. I am all into the Fast and Furious series. I know they're ridiculous. The first 1 or 2 started out okay. Then they get a little bit more over the top.
Now they're
ridiculous.
James Bond level ridiculous.
And I'm okay with that. I'm in for it. Okay, another movie. This is coming out straight to Hulu. Is called False Positive. Ilana Glazer and Justin Theroux, who used to be married to
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, thank you.
He also wrote Iron Man.
And Pierce Brosnan. I don't even know what's happening in this movie, but I'll be there because Pierce Brosnan's there. And I actually like Justin Theroux. I think he's a good actor.
He is a good actor. He's a great writer, too.
Oh, good. Let me tell you. Okay, Video Demand and Digital, a movie called Gaia.
Yeah, they sent me that.
So this is about some people who, they're forest rangers that go off the grid. They're survivalist people, but then their cabin is attacked by something strange and unknown.
This next Netflix movie is the one she's going to be really excited for.
I am, oh my gosh.
Told you.
I'm so excited. Coming to Netflix, it's called The Ice Road, and it stars my man Liam Neeson, and it's about ice road truckers.
And Lawrence Fishburne.
I used to watch that show, Ice Road Truckers.
Did you really?
Yes, it made me so nervous all the time.
This is yet a...
But I loved it.
You know what? I
love Liam Neeson.
I saw somebody refer, and I had not heard this term, and I'm very upset with myself that I had not heard this term and started using it in relation to now movies from Liam Neeson, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah, the older dudes.
They called it the latest Jerry Action movie.
Yes! Oh my gosh, that's what this is. I'm all in.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be fun. The next one I've been wanting to see too, but
these are all limited. Okay. Video Demand and Digital, Felix and the Hidden Treasure.
This is not what I was referring to.
I don't even know what this is about, but Felix is I don't know, sailor. Who knows? Okay. Coming to Apple TV Plus, Fathom. I know nothing about this except it looks like we're going underwater to study humpback whales.
I got excitable for a minute because there used to be a comic called Fathom from Michael Turner, who rest in peace. And I got excitable, and then that's not what it is.
And then on Prime Video, we have a little documentary about Mary J. Blige. It's called Mary J. Blige's My Life.
And she is so good in the Power season Power.
Oh, is she? That's
the book too.
Then this one. Is this the one I'm thinking?
I have no idea what you're thinking about.
I don't know which one it is. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was thinking the other one where the guy's walking.
But the one I just showed you? Yeah,
okay.
It didn't come out too late.
This one's Video Demand and Digital. It says, I Carry You With Me, based on a true story about a romance that begins in Mexico between an aspiring chef and a teacher. And it journeys all the way to New York, following their hopes and their dreams. Well, we'll find out what it's about. There you go.
They're right.
I'm excited for Fast and Furious and the Ice Road Truckers.
And next week we probably won't have a lot to talk about because we're going to probably spend so much time on the Fast and Furious saga stuff.
And Liam Neeson.
And what?
Liam Neeson.
Well, Liam Neeson and Batman. So that's probably next week's show.
That's it.
3 things.
But we're going to talk about all 9 movies.
10 because there's Hobbs and Shaw as well.
All 10 movies. We're only on number 3. How are we going to get all that done by Friday?
We've done it before.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So moving on to contests.
Yes.
We have some new things that have hit.
Okay.
And a couple other new things that are going to be popping up. So the first thing that we have, I'm watching over here first, scrolling through because she's not prepared because she's too busy doing this. The first thing we have to give away is one of our favorite action flicks to come along recently, Nobody. Sorry, Bob Odenkirk.
It stopped.
It comes out on Blu-ray and 4K and all that stuff this next week. But we have a copy to give away.
We had a little...
Very excited to give one of those away because I think everybody needs to see this movie. And it has just come out that they are developing the second one and hopefully give Connie Nielsen some more money. Why are we looking at this on our screen?
Because the screen frosted, so let me just take it away. Sorry, I apologize.
How about you stop messing with everything else and stick with our show?
I am sticking with the show. The screen got frozen, okay? My bad.
You know why it gets frozen? Because you're spinning through 30 screens doing nothing.
I am not. I'm getting it.
If this was a real job, you would have been fired 3 shows ago.
Wow.
Anyway.
Harsh. Who's starring Connie? Who?
Connie Nielsen is the one that plays the wife in Nobody.
Yes.
And they were saying in the second one that they're developing, they're looking to give her more action.
Nice.
Which she already showed she can do it with Wonder Woman and stuff. So
yeah.
Anyway, so we're also giving away copy. I don't know what you have next, so I can't tell them. She's a creep. All right. Okay, outside of Nobody, we also have got copies of Undercover Punch and Gun. So the martial arts flick we talked about last week, or I talked about last week. Then we also have the martial arts flick we talked about probably over a month ago, a movie called The Paper Tiger.
So good.
Yeah, it's an action comedy that I sadly relate way too much to for my age now. One of the big ones, Godzilla vs. Kong.
Also very good.
Copies of that to give away. We're also still have a couple of copies of The Courier with
Benedict
Cumberbatch.
I'm giving my thing.
And lastly, I have one copy left. This is probably one of the ones that ends this week. Actually, The Courier, these last two, is the final season 15 of Supernatural.
So amazing. Get your tissue ready.
So The Courier and Supernatural will be ending this week, and prizes will be going out. I sent out some other prizes this week already. So you make sure you're checking those emails to see if I told you one. Sometimes I don't tell you when. Sometimes I just mail you and let you be like, what?
I want people to please follow the rules for the contest because I think I saw someone just post a comment and they're like, entered. I'm like, that's not how you entered by saying I entered.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to tell you again. When you want to enter our contest, it is fully written out if you read the entire contest.
I have to read instructions.
And I try to not make them very long. But you have to email me your entry. Now, I'm a nice fellow, so sometimes when I see people post their entry,
take it,
and I don't know who they are, I end up making a note of who they are and put it in because I randomly draw. I literally old school write a bunch of people's names down, and I randomly draw the winner.
Draw it out of the bucket.
And if I try to make sure I'm not, because some contests you get a few, and some of them you get hundreds and hundreds. I try to make sure the same people aren't winning all the time. If you're somebody that supports us and shares things and enters a lot of things, just entering though doesn't help us as much. If you got to get out there and share those articles or whatever, but every so often I get some special swag that I hook up with our regulars. We have a couple of regular people that have been supporting us since day one that we don't know.
Yeah.
So every so often I hook them up with some extra swag, so we get some extra things. But anyway, make sure you go in there. If you look at it, the email address is on the front page of the website. It says it on the email. You have to go like and follow all of our pages, our Instagrams and Twitters and Facebooks and YouTube. You don't have to do them more than once. Once you've done them, you're done with that part. You can enter every single contest for the rest of your days as long as you've done that. And I check. And I have basically what I have most people that are regular enterers, they basically say, I already subscribe to all. And then they just give me their answer. There's a question that has to be answered on every single contest. It is an opinion question. There's no right or wrong answer. It's usually why.
Sometimes there is a right or wrong answer, like the Godzilla poster, or no, the King Kong poster. Like, that was a right or wrong answer.
What was the King Kong poster?
Like, what poster is this a homage of?
Oh, well, that's it. I don't do those anymore.
Oh, okay.
That got too confusing because people were...
Like, the internet will tell you.
No, it'll say things like, if it's a Liam Neeson movie, what is your favorite... who is your favorite old action star? Like, actor turned action star. I think like nobody. I think the question is, who is your favorite most unlikely action star? Because Bob Odenkirk is not somebody I would have ever thought to be an action star.
Correct.
It's that kind of thing. Some people are lame and they go, "Oh, I thought Bob Odenkirk was like that. You didn't try." Then other people give me some awesome answers.
They get a full synopsis.
And I like this because part of the reason I do this is because sometimes I learn about new movies that I want to go check out that I may have missed. I had somebody post about some crazy movies that I'd never heard of, and I would look at them like, and I watched one of them, I was like, this movie is awesome. And I watched the other one, I'm like, they're crazy. This movie sucks. But that's how people discover stuff. So part of that's that. I do that, though, so it's fun. It makes people sit back and think about, who do I like? Oh, I want to tell them about this movie that I like, Yeah. And I have some people that go all in. I love those people. They give me, I like this because I really connect to this movie. I had one guy.
Yeah. Oh, I love.
I think it was about Mission
something.
Impossible.
Yeah.
It was this one guy. I think he goes, "Oh, I love the original Mission Impossible. I know it's not the best in the franchise, but me and my dad saw it together, and we loved watching it. He had watched the show, and he loved seeing the show come to life. And he was telling me all about the show. So I get some of those, and then I get other ones. It's one line. I like Tom Hanks because he's funny.
Tom Hanks is fun.
It doesn't matter how detailed your answer is. That has no bearing on winning or losing. But it's just fun to be that way.
Yeah,
So
cool.
You have to email me your entry. If you post it on the social media,
On the social media. On the social
Yes,
media.
on the line. I might miss it. If I catch it, I still try to be fair and put it in
Put
there.
your name in it.
But I sometimes don't see it. So please, please, please. If you win something, do us a favor. Post online. Hey,
Yes,
look at this
I like
prize
those
I just
people.
won
They're so nice.
from so-and-so. Go to their website. Check it out. It's free publicity for us, and you got something for it, right? And you're not required. It's not a thing of like, oh, I'll never give them a prize again if they don't. But I have some people that do that. Some people that don't. I have some people that never enter a contest and share the contest.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, go over here and win stuff. We're fine with that too.
Yeah,
all right.
that's all good.
And I keep lists of those people because every so often I get things I say, hey, send me your address. I'm just going to send you something. And here in the coming months, getting closer to the holiday times,
Yep.
we got a
We
big
got stuff
box
to get rid of.
a big box of stuff that was meant for All-Con convention last year that we still haven't given all of it away.
Correct.
The
There's a
All-Con's
lot
coming
of
up in
stuff.
October, so what I don't give away in October at All-Con, or whatever they're calling that one now,
Yeah, we don't know what it's
I
called.
am going to do a big giveaway, and it's going to be like big stuff, like full series of stuff. You may get like 4 or 5 DVDs or Blu-rays in a set, maybe a Star Wars bundle. I've got Ultraman stuff, and all kinds of stuff.
There you go.
So anyway,
Well, thank you so much
join
for
our
watching.
costumes at
Hollywood Matrimony.
Contest.
HollywoodMatrimony.com. All one word, Hollywood Matrimony. Click the contest button. That will take you to the contest. That's all you got to do. It's easy. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Live on YouTube at Hollywood Matrimony. Facebook at Hollywood Matrimony. We're on the Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony. And we're on Twitter at Hollywood Matter, MATR, because Twitter limits your character count.
Exactly. And don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday for an all-new episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live, where it'll be a Fast and Furious extravaganza.
Goodbye.
It's just going to be us talking about it. There's nothing.